I've got to admit that in this light, this is not my best look. So, me and Mrs. Biggins have been sitting out here. Tonight, we watched Jaws, and then we watched an episode and a half of The Sopranos. Um, I was just telling the people that this light is not my best light.
I'm wearing my pajamas.
Are you?
Yes.
That's hot. Turn around for me.
No.
Come on.
No.
All right. Well, so how's everybody's fourth been? I hope you've had a lovely. Now I'm on Wi-Fi, so if this cuts out, I can't help it. So by now, it's been 24 hours since the release of Bad Ben Frankenstein Part 2. I got a lot of comments. People liked it. That is spectacular. The numbers are low tonight because I guess people are out taking in the festivities. From our back deck here, all the shore towns are that way. They straight out, we go to a shore town and all the way down. And from what I can tell, there was at least 10 different places having fireworks. Now we can't really see them from here because like New Year's we can see because there's no trees on the leaves, but now there's trees on the leaves. So we really couldn't see. Same to you, J Lo. And but we could see briefly flashes of light over there that looked like lightning, which when the grand finale of fireworks in Ocean City were going off. So Jennifer, how'd you like Frankenstein Part Two? You and the Coven. The final version, I'm probably going to blur out my handling of the penis
Why?
because, like it was told to me, when if it ever goes anywhere else besides the Bad Ben channel, they would require that baby. I said, well, I look at streaming channels out there. Um, I've seen nudity before. Plus, it's obvious. I mean, look at the end of Boogie Nights, he brings his shit out. But anyway, I don't know. J Lo says it was so much fun. I felt like I learned how to assemble a man by watching you. It would work for a female too, except the love model would be uh, different. And I actually got to straighten up a little downstairs. Do you know how many boxes I had? I broke down boxes today, and with my relative passing away, my sister's mother in law, they need boxes to pack some stuff up. But I must have, because I was keeping boxes for a while because I didn't know how many I need. I must have 60 boxes. Nobody's used to seeing Nigel on at 10 o'clock at night. Except last night I was on 9 till 10. But you can tell it's a holiday because of the numbers of people in the room. So we watched Jaws. You know, Jaws was such a good movie, but you could tell then they decided to capitalize on it because Jaws 2, just the way it looked from the opening scene, looked so much different. Um, I don't think Spielberg was involved with Jaws 2. He might have been listed as a producer, but he definitely wasn't the director. The fireworks in Salem ended a few minutes ago. Our fireworks, for the most part, I still hear blasting, but that's probably,
Ass blasting.
how dare you? Um,
That was from Sunny.
it probably ended at 9:30. Ran for like a half an hour. We watched Uncle Sam, the 4th of July horror movie. Never heard of
I
it.
didn't know there was such a thing.
Neither did I. I had never heard of it.
I
Uh,
made you a nice coffee today, though.
She made me an iced coffee. You can make from that one $7 container of Nescafe iced coffee, you can make 85 drinks. We actually think more.
So, I mean, some people probably use a lot more than I do when I make the drinks. You and I both like it creamy.
You're a fucking queen.
Thank you. Did you know there's a cold foam you can buy in a, like, what do you call it?
Whipped cream?
Yeah.
No. So we're probably cutting down on the Dunkin' if the queen continues to make them this good. She could start to falter though if she gets angry with me. So Jaws, then I had to go do something on the computer. Then
Took you a long time.
Tony Pratt, what? Where I went to do the
Yes.
computer? Well, it was quite involved. And then it was back to The Sopranos. And we're already halfway through season 5, and there's so much still to happen. There's only two more. There's only a season and a half left. Meadow was seen for about 10 seconds in this family meeting. Keep walking. That was it. Try to stay awake, AJ. Keep walking.
Where did you say there's a Costco?
We went to it
I know, but where was that?
up near Manahawkin.
I'm just curious.
It's a beautiful mall. It's, do you call them malls when they're strip malls? It's a strip mall usually is not like this, but it's like it's, yeah, it's a strip mall, but it's nice. They have a I think they have an Acme there, but they have a Best Buy. The other end of the parking lot is the Costco. We went in there, and we're not members of Costco because it's like an hour away, and it's really, we've got Sam's, we've got BJ's. Do we need an? Well, we're not members of BJ's. We're not members of Sam's either. I haven't renewed it yet. But it's like, do we really need to go to another?
Well, I would rather go to Costco.
Well, they don't have the room for it, but with McNaughton's closing, that's a big corner. I wonder what's going to go in there. We went to Concord, Massachusetts earlier today and walked across the North Bridge where the shot heard round the world was fired. That must have been a big gun.
You know, watching The Sopranos, I don't understand how all these women function with those big long nails.
I hear you.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Where was I the other day where someone was typing on a computer with long nails? Oh, when I got blood work last week,
Yeah.
she had humongous nails. Her fingernails were almost as long as her fingers.
Dumbass.
She was a bit sassy, that one. I got chased out into the parking lot by a customer,
Oh yeah.
and he says, they came out looking for you. And I'm thinking, what the fuck did they find in my blood that quick? And I went back in. She says, yes, Mr. Bach, we need a little bit of urine. And I said, how dare you? And I felt nervous about performing.
Hello. Hello. Oh my god. Hello.
Sable has just attacked her mother. So, if everybody in here has seen Frankenstein, if you haven't, tune out now because I'm going to give a spoiler. But if everybody in here has seen Frankenstein, how'd you like the tap dancing? Stinky feet. And you saw that Sophie had a wait. Sable, honey. Sophie had a long appearance. She had a long cameo. And Squatch, I'd like to hear Squatch's opinion on his brain. And poor Carsey had her eyeballs hammered into the head.
Sable, you don't stop. We're going inside.
So now you guys saw how I treated. I forgot to ask any of you about this. What'd you think about when I opened the case and what was inside? Adam, Sophie is a different cat. Any other cat I ever had, you could pick up. They let you pet them and all. She lets me pet her, and she particularly likes her belly rubbed. But she's not does not like being picked up. And she was an alley cat, but she loves the biggins. And but yeah, I had to come up to her. When I pet her, she does that every time, sticks her ass up in my face. But back to what did you think about what was in the box in the first couple minutes of the film? Were you like, oh no? I really want to hear somebody comment on that. You did not expect what was in the box. See, I'm full of surprises. And is Frankenstein huge or what, that guy? And I'm not talking about his male part.
Big.
He's a big boy. How did I do what? The hand? And now you're worried about Jackson. That's what he gets for leaving me.
You did it.
Well, the fact of it is now, who cut off his hand and is he still alive? You know, I've already told you he makes an appearance at the end of part 3. Now, that appearance could be in a coffin, God forbid. I already have the coffin. Actually, Adam referenced Sophie. I didn't even have that planned. I just, when I walked out into the room because I made the noise, she was there. So I walked over and I petted her, and she stuck her ass in my face.
She had a very good taste. She had good taste of who she shows her butt to.
But now you got to be worried. Am I going to get more parts of Scott in boxes? Poor Scott. Poor Jackson. That hand, by the way, that I used in that is really cool in that it is a hand that's used um, for tattoo artists. It's flexible and everything, and it's used for them to practice tattooing. Hello, Fender. Happy 4th to you also. We still have explosions going off all over Hick Township here. You know what I found? A lot of people are working today. And I'm not talking about people just in the tourism industry. Um, I'm talking like, I guess what they did was gave them a 3-day weekend by giving them off tomorrow because the they were collecting recycling today. Our recycling day is Wednesday, so it got picked up yesterday. But the guy that sprays the yard for bugs was here today too. How did you make it run around? You mean the feet? I was watching New Jersey fireworks over the ocean on Earth Cam. Well, you know, when they do them, what they do is they load the fireworks onto a barge that's out over the ocean. So you really don't have to worry about anything catching on fire. Although one year a barge exploded. Philadelphia has huge fireworks um, on the riverfront. So people watch from Philly and they also watch from Camden. The view is actually better from the New Jersey side because in Philly, they're right there. Camden, which the waterfront is probably about there. I don't know. Maybe it's an eighth of a mile wide, maybe a quarter mile, but they sit on the other side, and you're not looking like this to watch them. You're just looking. I wonder if they still have the. Oh yeah, benign was the hand running around. That was Reverend Steve's hand, or Druggo Jesus, or no, I never. That was Steve was the hand, but it was never. Yeah, Druggo Jesus was the floating head, so I guess he was in parts. But we managed to get him back together. but Squatch's brain was put in the screw off cap, and we got to explain how I had no hair and then hair again. Now, why that was important here, folks, is the part with Frankenstein on the table was actually shot a couple weeks ago before I had the hair incident. So what I did was buy the formaldehyde, and people have told me they love that scene where I got splashed by it, and that made my hair fall out. And then the rubbing the hair regenerator on my head. Question you got to ask yourself though is, why didn't I rub it on the top of my head? Hi, Schmack Dynamite. Happy 4th to you. By the way, found out Napoleon Dynamite cost $400,000 to make and grossed $45 million. And that was originally made as a short film by the same director that made it. And the guy that played Napoleon Dynamite was the co-writer, and he was also in that. And they took Napoleon Dynamite, the name from, I forget, I read that today too, but what other trivia did I tell you today? Was it something Sopranos related?
No, it's just Jaws.
What'd I tell you?
That the woman in the sun.
Oh, you know, the Fitches will like this story. You know, what was his name? Alex. I forget.
Hitler.
Alex Kittner. You know how you guys had Alex Kittner the other day? Well, the woman that played his mother just recently died. Maybe it's a couple years ago. But she, after making Jaws and all, she went into a restaurant, and I don't know if she was recognized or she somehow the topic came up that she played the mother of the boy that died in Jaws. And the waiter said, "Hang on a second," goes in the back, and out comes the owner of the restaurant, who was Alex Kittner. I guess they put him back together too. Uh, so when I go to sleep tonight, there's no particular reason to get up super early tomorrow. Although I have been, because I've been working on the film, I have been staying up late, like sometimes till 1 in the morning, and sleeping in. But Forrest Gump seemed like the movie for the holiday. You mean for you? We watched Jaws. Fender said the dogs will wake you. No, not necessarily. Um, they will. They will stay. If they have to go to the bathroom, yes. But Archer never, very rarely goes out first thing in the morning until after he eats. And but Sable will go out right away. Once in a while, in the middle of the night, Sable will get up and I'll take her out. But she's been pretty good. You know, I talked about fireworks and how dogs get out and all, which is terrible. But um, also, you kind of got to know, you got to secure your animals when this is happening. This Ring doorbell has become like a Crumble spoilers. Anything good on there?
They're going to start having mini cookies every day through the rest of the summer.
Well, the regular cookies are just too damn big. Cookies and creams look good.
Yeah, Molly might be good.
I know, Schmack. I feel bad for dogs in this. Our dogs didn't give a shit. Archer paced around a little. Sable was laying down on her. We got last week at Crumble this strawberry shortcake. That I can see for the price.
Yeah, but like
Mint chip ice cream in August.
might be bad.
Snickerdoodle.
But no oatmeal.
Peanut butter cup.
No fucking oatmeal.
I know. Them bastards. How dare they? You just hold on to that puppy, Schmack. Does he react to that? The thunder and lightning? They talked about we might have thunder tonight, but we didn't. Still could, but it's kind of already cooled down. Tomorrow's supposed to be a little bit cooler, but the humidity's now starting. So it got up to 87 today, and it was warm and humid, but by like 6:37, it was cooling down.
Burrito corn salad.
Here's what Adam told me that Kittner, Alex Kittner, um, he told us he tried to audition as an extra in Jaws 2, which they also shot in Martha's Vineyard. But the casting director recognized him. Hey, you're dead. Get out of here. We know I saw something in that film. Was that an animal screech? Or was that you? Oh God. The kid that was throwing the stick for the dog, Pippet, that disappeared. He's then when everybody's running, he's there in a t-shirt and shorts, and he's throwing the stick in the water, and then he's looking for his dog or the water, and then like 30 seconds later, a scene where everybody's running out of the water because of the shark attack on Alex Kittner. I could swear it was him in a bathing suit. And Mrs. Biggins caught something on
Oh yeah.
the Sopranos yesterday. There's a scene where Tony and Carmela are in the guidance counselor's office with AJ, and then they tell him to leave.
Piece of shit.
And when he gets up and he walks out, it's a different person walking out because it was the from the back of his head you could tell it was different, and he had on different pants.
Yeah, the actor who plays AJ was wearing like khaki pants, and the person that walked out, first of all, he was taller, had a different hairdo, and he was wearing blue jeans. That's kind of like Dawson's Creek using white sheets in place of snow.
There was also the scones.
Yeah, you caught that, not me.
They had a plate of scones. Carmela had put 4 scones up. Then they cut, and there's 2 scones on the plate. Then they cut again, and there's 3. That is the one thing I would tell you about back in the day when I used to shoot commercials. Whenever I would shoot a restaurant, I would leave there with a ton of food. They all used to love to make their plates that they were known for, put them on a table, and I had to film their plates. But better than restaurants was the food at diners. Here's this missing pit bull puppy. That's just what I want to say. Oh, it's so cute.
I don't want to look. I'm not looking. Just stop.
Has it popped up for you?
Yes.
I got a giant cobweb across the ring cam right now.
All right.
Hot, you said? Listen to you.
You listen to me.
Oh, God.
I'm going in.
Just wait 5 more minutes.
We go to Bagliani's. We got to make sure and get the macaroni salad.
Why? You never eat it.
Yes, I do.
You threw it out last time.
We had it once last time, but never mind. We didn't get it.
I'll get it because I eat it. Now people are talking about the reason why the World Trade Center fell. They said it was built, it was the way it was built. No, the reason why the World Trade Center fell was, first of all, they were built to withstand the impact of a 737, which was the largest plane at the time. Now, I might be slightly wrong on that fact, but it was the largest plane at the time. And but buildings after 1960 something, all buildings over a certain height had to be built to be imploded because the deconstruction of them was just too much. So, like the Empire State Building, for instance, is not meant is not built to be imploded. Although they might be able to do it with today's engineering, but the aircraft did absorb the impact, as you could tell. But the reason why is the hijackers, they had just taken off from Boston, and every one of the flights involved on 9/11 were cross country flights. Why? Because they knew they would be full of fuel. Like, for instance, when a plane flies from, say, Atlantic City, Spirit Airlines flies out of Atlantic City to Myrtle Beach a lot. The aircraft always has the minimum amount of fuel to make it where it needs to go because the weight makes a difference on the efficiency. But airplanes, like one of them actually had, I want to say it was a producer of Frasier on it that was flying from Boston to LA, and they died in the crash. But those planes that were flying from out of Boston and the different locations were all cross country flights, so they had the maximum amount of fuel, and that's what caused the buildings to fall, was because when they impacted, the fuel was the impact, first of all, knocked the insulation off. The impact and explosion knocked the insulation off the steel beams, and the burning fuel actually caused the steel beams to fail. In the earlier terrorist attack on the buildings in 1990, when the van blew up in the basement, the intention was that it would cause one building to fall over into the other and knock them both down. Had that happened, that actually would have been more damaging because it would have taken out, at their height, it probably would have taken out 8 to 10 city blocks, would have been the, smash. Not 8 to 10 city blocks, but yeah, maybe. Um, but that didn't work. So they planned this obviously more, and Osama bin Laden, I believe, was an engineer. I saw a family picture of him as a kid. The whole family, there was like 10 or 11 kids with their parents and all. Just seemed like a normal guy, normal kid. No, the PA flight was not shot down. Todd Beamer, his name sticks out because I met his widow. I was in the National Guard at the time, and those guys rushed the cockpit, and the guys um, flying the plane either drove it into the ground or were so. First of all, these guys were not super experienced pilots. Um, they had taken flying lessons, but they were flying like Cessnas. So they knew the basics, which is why they allowed the pilots to take off in the aircraft, and then they, barged the cockpit and were just able to fly it to their destination. But knowing these guys were busting into the cockpit and they weren't going to reach their destination, they crashed it. 9/11. Um, the aircraft were not loaded with explosives like some people look and say, oh, that's a missile on the underside of the aircraft. No, they were civilian aircraft that were flown in, and the Pentagon was the same thing. That people, there's so many, and the internet doesn't help it. There's so many conspiracy theories, but this was an attack on, a terrorist attack, obviously. The one conspiracy I hear, first of all, we did land on the moon. Um, but the one conspiracy that the one thing that seems suspect to me is the report on the assassination of JFK. That just, you know, just, I don't know that there was a single gunman. That just seemed to, I think there is a possibility that J. Edgar Hoover had something to do with that. He was a little bit of a freaky deak. But there's some things out there, like I wonder, like they don't, for instance, know for sure what happened to the Hindenburg. By the way, and this is going back 25 years ago, I had to go to Lakehurst for some work, and they still have um, some well, first of all, there's blimp hangers there, but you can still see, you could at that time anyway, and I don't imagine it's changed. You could still see where the concrete runway was repaired from the Hindenburg, which crashed like, I don't know, 70 years before that. Good night, JLo. So I'm going to be shutting down here in a minute too. Folks, if you enjoyed Frankenstein, Bad Ben 14 Frankenstein Part 2, and you want to help with the making of Part 3, please use the link badben.com/donate. And even if it's $1, anything helps. So I'm going to end this now. And I don't know about you, but it feels like Sunday to me, but it's going to feel weird for the next 3 days. But I'll be back tomorrow. So let me hop off here. See ya. Love you. Bye for now.